everybody. My name is Evelyne Brink, and in this episode, I've got my long-standing friend and revered acting colleague, Daniel Kamen, on the show. And we are going to talk about helping you come alive on camera and really improve, up-level, take control of your digital leadership. Digital, that sounds like a drug and alcohol in it. Your digital leadership mastery. Welcome, Daniel.
Hello, I'm super happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. And we're having you today from your place in, not Vienna, in Berlin.
Yes.
Because you can be in Berlin and Vienna, in Prague, in Frankfurt. Where else do we find you usually?
That's about it right now. Yeah.
Or on television. I find you on my TV.
I've been on television on Friday in Germany anyway.
Oh, awesome. Which show were you on?
Der Staatsanwalt, it's called. It's really old. They've done it for 15 years, I think. And I had a really cool role. I did that in summer. It was really cool.
I need to let my family know. This is so fun. So, Daniel, tell us a little bit about you. You've been an actor not just since yesterday.
No. Actually, we just counted for 18 years.
No, 28.
28 years.
28 years. After the first 10, your fingers get tired, don't they? You're like, wait.
28 years, right, yeah.
How's the accountancy business going?
What'd you say?
How is your accountancy business going?
Awesome. I'm really good at that, actually.
This is where the acting comes in handy again, right? Like, I might not know my numbers, but I can pretend. 28 years as an actor. For most people, that means waitressing much of that time. But in your case, it actually means a long-standing career on and off the stage, on movies, on theater. Like, tell us, what have you done?
So I've done countless theater productions, actually since my schooling in Vienna. That's why I always return to Vienna, because I had my network there, and I've been in several theaters in cities and done 8 productions per year since 2002 when I finished school. And before that, I was actually a professional actor also. When I did my high school year in the US, I was in my first professional theater group in Wisconsin. And I got my first paycheck for acting and stuff. I was so proud. And I've always wanted to be an actor. And I've really worked myself to that from a little child, actually, going into... Anyway, yeah.
But you've done theater, but you've also done TV shows.
Yes, I have. I've played 3 major roles in movies.
Like proper cinema movies.
Yeah. And many TV shows in Germany and internationally. I've done productions for Netflix, Amazon, and ABC. Yeah, which was really cool. ABC was Whiskey Cavaliers, and I was shot with machine guns for the first time in my life.
The first time? Only an actor could say that. The first time I got shot down with a machine gun. I was shot down.
It's actually not that much fun.
I know it's not that, but I've been shot with machine guns the first time with 13 in the theater. Yeah, well, that's what the play I played in the theater in Mainz.
And was it fun? Did you have fun?
It was. My friend on stage fell for an explosion and I got shot. So yeah, and then we went into this tunnel and with the light, it was a weird production. And you can't say it was fun. It was terrible. But
yeah, as a 13-year-old, I'm sure. Did they explain it to you what you're doing?
They did. Yeah, they did.
Okay.
I'm surprised I'm not more traumatized. I remember because I just played that scene and I understood what the scene was, it was a very gruesome scene of these children finding this toy, and thinking this was amazing. It was in a war zone and the toy was full of explosives. Those little.
Oh my God.
And once I've seen my little friend and my doll. No, my friend went in the explosion of the little truck. And then I get angry and then I rip my doll apart. And then something comes from above and it shoots me down. And then we go into the light and see our parents. Gruesome. I was just so happy to be playing. theater. And I knew nothing was happening to me, so I was fine. But I remember watching the play and being in complete shock about how dark it actually was. So it's almost like
really?
I wasn't
How
a
did you
separate
see
bubble.
it? Did they tape it or
No, because when you're young as a child actor,
yeah,
all
they
you
have
have
exchanges. Yeah, right, right.
So I saw my other me on stage. Then another thing you can only do as an actor. So I saw myself on stage.
Totally.
Like, what kind of a life do you live?
Yeah, it's really strange. I've seen that. That happened to me too. Like as a professional actor, that they did the same play a couple of years later, and I was replaced by a woman. That they changed the role completely.
Where else has that happened to you?
Change. Well, actually, I mean, it was a play. It was like a non-binary. How do you say that? What is the word?
Non-binary?
No, it's like a between woman and man.
Transgender?
It was an angel actually. It was an angel.
Fluid gender?
Fluid gender. Yes, a fluid gender. I like it. That's it. I take B. $200 on B. Like a fluid gender role, and so they decided to, change it the other way. So yeah, because once it showed up as a man, and in another scene it showed up as a woman. I played the secretary and stuff. So the secretary was. Anyway, it was really strange. It was strange seeing yourself and not being yourself, and yeah.
Oh, okay, so.
And of course you think, I did that better.
Obviously. Without question. So you've done movie productions, theater productions, cinema productions. You've been on the stage for 28 years. And
yes, and I also...
have you been a waiter? Have you done waitressing as well? Because when I was an actress, I did a lot of waitressing.
I haven't. I worked in a soap shop for a while in Lush. I worked in Lush for a while.
We call it Lush.
I heard in England. In England, you're saying Lush. Somebody lied to me. Can you?
All right, put it in the. If you have this, if you're watching this, please put in the comment if you say Lush or Lush. But please, nobody says Lush. Come on.
Well, because we're saying Lush too, but somebody told me that in England you actually call it Lush.
I love it. Now I want to know.
It sounds so much more.
Lush.
Lush. I work for Lush.
Let's go back to acting, because that's what people want to hear about, is how to be natural and how to take your leadership in front of the camera. So my clients come to me because they're top leaders and they're very good at what they do, and they have really big roles. They have their own businesses. But then now they're meant to express themselves in front of the camera. There's no more normal networking right now. And then they want to say these important things and they freeze, or they become robotic, or they just become weird. And so we want to talk about what it takes to have fun. And one of the reasons why you're such a great actor to talk about these things is that not only are you fantastic and I love you dearly, but you're also someone who plays really... You know how to play really fine character, really odd people. Do you think that people that come from the corporate world or from the consulting place, do they need to act in order to have fun on camera?
Well, it depends on what acting means for you. Because in Germany we say Schauspielen, it's show playing. And in English, you say act, which comes from action and doing actually. So, and I have always said, because the Germans are so stiff and bureaucratic, that's why we have to remind ourselves it's about playing, it's about having fun. And the English, I don't know too many English people, but maybe they're more what it is actually about: acting, doing things. You want to achieve something. That's what happens in life. You talk to somebody and you want a certain reaction. You want them to understand, you want them to do something for you. That's what a scene is, basically. So, and then of course, what also comes in is the relationship that the relationship with my printer. how this happens, you know, and that's what defines the energy between that is actually in the scene, the relationship. Do I hate this person? Do I like this person? Do I love this person? And that's what transforms you as an actor. That's the imagination that can happen when you play a scene, to make it really clear to you who you are talking to, and what you want to achieve, and therefore it doesn't really have to be natural. I mean, the actual situation. You can play with this in a completely different way, and the words are still the same, so the message comes across, but you can have fun with it.
Okay, let me interrupt you, because we're going like at 100 miles an hour into different conceptual realms, which
Oh
are
yeah, I'm
fascinating.
sorry.
But
I'm very sorry.
just please, sorry. On your knees, boy. But just to get people on the same page, the question was, do you have to act if you're a leader and you want to come alive on camera?
I
And you
completely
gave a
forgot.
really great response, which is, it depends how you define acting. If you see it as pretending, then, well, yes, if you're German and the word pretends has the word play in it, then definitely that's a good idea, because playfulness is great. But other
Absolutely.
than that, actually, it's about taking action. Acting is about action and reaction. And
Exactly.
so if that's what we see as acting, then yes, when you are with a camera and you're giving your message, you are in action. So if you want to call that acting, great. If you don't, also fine. But we do want to get into that action. Then the next piece that you took out was actually the main piece, which is the game changer, the key to the key really to being great on camera, and that is the relationship that you have. So then you were talking about scenes and acting. We're used to talking to other people, or to people who are not even there. Like a lot of the modern films, right? You're talking to to monsters or goblins or stuff. You just see somebody with a script in their hand in front of a green screen that is
Yeah.
later replaced by this ginormous monster. But the viewers don't see that. We just see you talking to the monster. The actor actually is talking to a man with a clipboard, or a woman with a clipboard, or gender fluid person with a clipboard, or just the clipboard. You know.
Even don't have to go that far. It's actually in a close-up. It is, the camera is in front of you, so
Oh,
you cannot play to your partner. You can only hear your partner, but you are actually playing with a mark. So
wow.
so that happens in a regular movie quite often, actually.
And the great thing is, it's possible. And so
Yeah.
the key to that, you just gave us that, is the relationship we have. And
Mm-hmm.
the relationship can take place in our own imagination, but it has to take place. And this is what most people don't know, but actors do know.
Yeah.
That as actors, we relate to each other, a mark, a camera lens, anything. We react to anything. We relate.
Give me something, I'll just react.
Oh, we're relating to it. We just
No
relate
prop.
to it. And yeah, but a corporate leader hasn't necessarily learned to relate so willy-nilly to everything,
Yeah.
anyone and anything.
Unfortunately, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
So
No.
how do we teach people to relate to the camera?
Well, I'll try to be more focused now. It's also, I think it's also on two bases, because there is the lens works in a certain way. It's not authentic. It is something that works like an eye, but it has very different things to it. So you have to, there's a technique that you have to learn how, because the closer you get and you do this looks funny. It's not something you would see, you know. It's not a natural thing, because it's way too fast. The closer you come to the lens and stuff and things like that, or working with the eyes, what you think, how you think. You don't always stare into at your partner or something like that. So that's there. And the other thing is also to sharpen the imagination of how good you can create the person that you are imagining of talking to. and that releases you, that you like, or that makes you in a good mood, and that gives you this authenticity of being in the moment with this person that you've just created.
All right, this is again great. So those 2 points are golden again, and they're really, really major. Number one is there's a technique to be learned. The camera is not a human eye; it's a technical eye. So it looks at you, but it doesn't have the filter of an eye or the non-filter. It has certain ways that it works. For example, if you go too close, like your hands look big when you're close, so you can't move them too fast because it just comes across as erratic. Then if you have a wide angle lens like in your laptops, you can't see the eyes as well. So it depends on how close I am to the camera. The closer I am, the more intimate I am. If I'm too close, this is getting freaky, right? Whoa, intense, like. So we need to get the right.
And you feel totally close, but you look like.
So we need to find our angles. And we literally need to find our angles of how we communicate well. So we're looking into the lens. That means if I look into the lens, it means I'm looking at you, right? You now think I'm looking at you. The people watching are thinking that I'm looking at them. That's what it means when I look at the lens. But then the next mistake I see people do is then they always look at the lens when they speak, and they're really focusing on that lens.
Exactly.
And that's not a natural way of speaking to anyone. Because if I looked at you like this for more than a minute, you're going to really
What does she want? What is it?
So we want to learn to not just... So number one was the rules of the camera. Yes, you need to focus on that little black hole because that's the eye. So that represents the eye of the other person, for example.
Exactly, yeah.
And you need to know what to do with your hands and not to do. So that's a little bit of camera.
And how fast and in what... what's the name?
Das auf Deutsch.
In welchem Rhythmus oder in welcher... Rhythm. Yeah, exactly.
German speaking English, which is supernatural.
Your German speaking English is supernatural? What?
No, I said two Germans speaking English to each
other.
Oh,
yes. Yes, that's very strange.
That's a bit strange, yeah. So the rhythm, we've got it. And the other part that you just mentioned, which I thought was really important, was that we get to sharpen our imagination. So the better you know in your own head, in your own head, in your mind, who you're talking to, and you imagine that person, the more authentic you will come across. So if I look into the lens and just look at a lens and talk randomly, it kind of comes across a little randomly. But if I know I'm talking, let's say right now I'm talking to you, Daniel. So if I look at the lens and I think of your face and I think of your brown eyes and the way your hair is, how you usually move, then I'm relating to imagine Daniel right now whilst looking the lens, but it looks real. And then that's how we become authentic. So if we're doing a video just by ourselves, where we're not doing an interview, which is much easier if you ask me, just by ourselves, we need to imagine the person we're talking to.
Exactly. And it also needs practice, of course, to and fun. Practice and fun, I'd say. Yeah.
What happens if you don't have fun?
It becomes very serious. I mean, it's still, I think with the people I've worked with, it still works. It's still very authentic. It has a completely different energy, but it becomes a bit dark, I'd say. It's serious. It's very serious. And what also is very magical is humor, of course. And that happens with the fun.
Yeah. So what I notice is that when people really mean business and they want to do something really well and they want to get it right, that sense of fun often drops away.
Exactly. Yeah.
How important would you say the sense of fun is in order to be more professional? Because that's what people are concerned with. They're also afraid, if I'm just having fun with it, I'm not professional.
I have to quote a director that I've worked with a couple of weeks ago, and he said, if you're serious working with a lens, you're already fucked. And he meant that in a professional way for actors working on film, because of course it's about deep emotions and things, but still, if you're too serious about it, it shows. It's not this flurry, colorful thing anymore that life is. The life stops in a way when you're too serious
Isn't
about
that
things.
interesting? So what I'm hearing you say right now is you can be in deep emotion, and let's say the emotion is sadness or anger. You can be in that deep emotion that you're bringing, like you're connecting in with yourself, but you still need that angle of fun with the lens. So there's a different relationship happening at the same time, where
Yeah,
I'm bringing fun to it, and that's interesting, isn't it? I don't think many people know that you can have separate relationships.
it was to me. It
Like that.
was new to me too. Actually, I have to say, but and it is. Yeah, it's amazing when it happens. You can see the difference. You know when you see the difference. You know.
But Daniel, was it Stanislavski who said that you have 10% always watching you? Like, who was that? There was an acting teacher that taught us, a philosopher, where I learned as a young actress that there was always like 10% where you're watching yourself and 90%
Yeah.
in your role.
No, actually, I
What
think
was that?
we've talked about it,
We also talked about it.
and we said it's like the only the feeling of 120%
Yeah.
that you are actually able in acting of being 100% in the role, but there's still a part of you that saves you, that doesn't let you go insane, or that saves you from not killing your partner and stuff. There's always something there, even though you do have the full emotion
Yeah.
flowing in
Yeah.
yourself.
So this
So
conversation
your
we
body
had,
thinks it's there, and a part of you always knows it's not real, you know.
so in because there's an acting philosophy that taught us that 10% is always watching what you're doing, and that means 90% you're in the role, 10% you're watching. And then you and me had this conversation where we said, well, actually, a really great actor is 100% in the role and then expands that consciousness to another added 20% of higher consciousness that's watching over you.
Exactly. That's
Exactly, because
that's how we imagined it. Yeah. Anyway.
that's how we formulate. So if people are going to go out and propagate this new truth dogma, quote us, and that's where we came from. But what's important here, we're talking about people who are not actors. These are corporate leaders or consultants, speakers, business owners. So they often have the problem that they're watching themselves more than they're actually in the role.
Yeah.
Right? So one of the issues that people report is that they almost like leave their body when they're speaking, and they can just hear themselves talk and they disconnect from their
Oh
body.
yeah. I see. I see.
So for these kind of people, what would you say? How can we help them have this higher consciousness, but really drop in and connect with themselves, allow themselves to feel some emotions, knowing that there's not just safe, but that's actually what we need. Because if you don't connect deeply to the emotions and have fun with the lens, we're not feeling you.
Yeah. Well, you see, I don't think it's actually something that actors do not cannot relate to. It does happen to actors too. So it is something that we know and that we have to deal with also, because when you play the premiere or something, you've never played it before, and things in front of an audience, it's always a new situation, and you have the feeling of having to perform now, now it's real. Before it was fun because you were rehearsing, and if it didn't go well, you could talk about it, and then all of a sudden it's for real. So there are things that you learn, how you can how to concentrate, or to yeah, it's the connection. It's the connection to the situation that keeps you as an actor in the situation, and not make you think about the situation that is actually there, that there are people sitting that haven't been there before and watching you and thinking, well, he was better in that play before, I don't like this, or whatever you could think of while you're doing this play. But you're concentrating on something completely different.
I
And
love
that's what you could work with too for those leaders and things to get you a concentration point that you could have fun with and enjoy.
I really love this, Daniel. Thank you so much. What you've just given everyone a bit of permission is to be a little excited and have these nerves, because it happens to everyone. Professional actors have it too. As soon as the premiere happens, like the nerves do kick in, and it's easy for us to leave our body and everything.
Absolutely.
Because you start thinking about what they think, and then you want to get it right. That's what I heard you say. And
yeah, totally.
And as soon as you get into this achievement mindset that you have to get it right, and you almost relate to their thoughts about you more than to your role, you're out of it. And the way back in is to practice the concentration point. It's making the choice of where you're spending your energy, your concentration energy, right? And so you said that if you are concentrating on the connection, so it could be the connection to your partner, it could be connection to the camera, it can be connection to your role, but your actual job, the actual thing that you came here to do, you choose to connect to it rather than get it right. Right. And that's how you get yourself back. Did I get that right?
Yes. Totally.
Yeah, great. So we've already had sessions with you, and they were super successful. People loved them. Because what you did is you gave people different scenarios in which to put their messages in, and it brought everything to life.
Mm-hmm.
Right, shall we talk a little bit about how we help people bring like, let's say they have a script, they've written a really good script they want to communicate to camera, and how did you help them bring that script out so it became more natural? Because it sounds performed and rehearsed when they start first, doesn't it?
Yeah, it did. Basically, they were very professional, and I had the feeling that in a way I had to concentrate on the message that they wanted to get across, because the rhythm was always the same and things like that. So we started working on or playing with different situations, like friends they were talking to, or also later I really liked that also with being on a party and having a few drinks, and all of a sudden the body released, and it was like it wasn't that important anymore. And funnily enough, the message came across much easier because it had a natural flow all of a sudden, and you didn't have to concentrate on the words at all anymore, but because you felt that somebody talked to you as they would, because they were talking to someone actually. Yeah.
Exactly, in their mind, and that made all the difference. And there's another piece that you just brought up, which is the idea of the rhythm. So what we mean when we say rhythm is the rhythm of the words. So if you have a script and you speak it, it often takes a certain rhythm of the way that you've learned the words. And then a bit like when you read something out, there is a certain way we see things flow. And the melody as well, often. And sometimes we're kind of good at making the melody a bit different, but the rhythm stays the same. And so that's how, we can detect that it's not actually a normal conversation flow. Because in a normal, spontaneous conversation flow, if you listen closely, even to me and Daniel talking now, our rhythm keeps changing. He's faster, I'm faster. He slows down, I speed it up. I slow down, he speeds it up. Then there's an interruption. So it's not a regular pattern as much as when you have a scripted piece that you're trying to perform. So we're disrupting that rhythm by actually putting a scene around you. And as soon as people connected with that scene, they forgot about that stiffness that they had with this rhythm. Then the actual rhythm of the message had a chance to evolve and come out.
Yeah.
Right? And that was super fun to see.
That was super fun, yeah. So amazing.
We're going to see more of that in the Video Impact course, and when people want to come and work with you privately as well, which is possible, which is going to be so good to enrich people from that world, right? What would you I want to close this off, but what would you say people can do? Let's say people that are listening and they're not in the course, they're not having our coaching. What's something that they can do right now to improve then being natural in their performance, and I put my fingers up there. What's something that they could do right now?
Okay, I think it's love the mistakes.
Love the mistakes.
Yeah, take it. Don't want to get it right. Do it. If something happens, it always instantly becomes it always instantly becomes authentic because you're off guard and embrace these things. Then you're real in these moments of, and you can go on from there. So that's what I would say.
So you learn to say yes to your mistakes because it makes you real. But what if I don't want to be seen in that realness? I want you to see me as professional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Good question. What I think is that we are not our best judges, and the way we want to be seen is maybe not always. I mean, it's always like this. Yeah, we all want to be. We have a certain image of ourselves, and we want this to come across, but to let these things go is sometimes really helpful in a way that you get this authenticity, and you get actually a much bigger self-esteem because you accept everything that's there, and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, I agree. That's really beautifully said. Really beautifully said. So we have this idea of how we want to come across, but actually, when we allow ourselves to be seen, connection also forms. Connection with the audience, and that's when they can start relating to you. Now, our interest as a leader is actually less looking good and more having an impact. And you have a real impact when you become authentic and people can feel you. So therefore, this is really courageous work to embrace our mistakes.
It is totally. I didn't mean it like just do it stuff, but it's something that I've learned, or I'm working on maybe.
I think we all are works in progress on that, especially on on that topic. Thank you so much for joining us, Daniel. Have a wonderful time in Berlin. Enjoy the snow, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, everybody. If you have any questions for us, please put them in the comments below or send me a message at hello@brinkcoaching.com. I really look forward to hearing from you. And now comes my good. Do you know my outro, Daniel?
No.
No, this one. Because it's so good to be seen, felt, and heard on screen.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.